Welcome to the Smoke Podcast. All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of the Smoke Podcast.
Yes.
This has been contentious already, and we ain't even out the damn gate.
Just know y'all won't see me next week.
Really? You done?
They will not see me next week.
All right. We are now taking applications for.
Right. Good luck.
Trust me, it won't be hard.
I know it won't be. I know a lot of people ready to sit in this seat. Let me help y'all. Come on through here next Wednesday and do something with them. That's what I'm talking about, bust ass show. In my face.
So what y'all been up to? We just got through this damn holiday, Memorial Day.
The holiday was great.
The holiday was great. It was really good.
I ate good, drank good,
Man,
smoked
what?
good.
Wow.
Rested good. I even got a nap. I never take
got a
a
nap?
I never take naps.
What'd you eat? I saw y'all out kicking it hard, you and your sister.
Mm-hmm.
How was the what was the Levitt Shell? How was that?
I like going to that. Just hanging out.
I heard it was a lot of people.
It
there.
was packed. It was way more packed than last year. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it was good. Good people, good times.
Yeah.
You know I'm all for bringing your own cocktails.
So what did you want to have?
too?
You can't smoke
You can't
cigars.
smoke cigars.
No, you can't. Because talking about some kids. I said, I'm just kidding.
Like, damn the
To
kids.
the babies. No, you can't smoke out there.
What were you drinking out there?
I actually found a cocktail on TikTok that I tried with vodka, watermelon juice, a little bit of lemon.
Okay, that
If you want to cut it, and then if you think if you cut it too much, add a little bit of simple syrup back into it.
Okay.
I mean, like a dash of it.
Just a dash of it.
And top it off with a Sprite. Just a dash of Sprite.
Just a dash.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting when they say a dash and somebody always put that way too much dash in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's literally a dash.
I got a friend that loves vodka with a splash, like a dash of cranberry juice, and basically it's got to be pink because if it's red, you
It's
put
too
too
much.
much.
Yeah.
You put too
So
much,
so I understand.
That's the great way to measure a drink with vodka. If you make it too dark, you did too much.
I had a cousin, man. So I have a cousin. He came down, and he was a big Crown Royal drinker.
Mm-hmm.
And so
With all this heat.
yeah, and my wife's aunt's boyfriend, I told him, I said, hey, man, you can't drink with them. They brought their own shit. It was like 6 of them. They all had their own coolers. And then he had his one big jug of Crown Royal.
Mm-hmm.
He said, no, man, I'm from Mississippi. Shit, I can drink it with anybody, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right, do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin filled up one of those big Yeti cups, ice and Crown Royal. With
That's
a
it?
Splash of Red Bull.
Oh my God!
That's all he was drinking.
No thanks.
And so his ass gonna try to drink.
Yeah,
Y'all been to my house. He was crawling up them stairs trying to get down.
No thanks.
I was like, man, I told you can't drink with them.
Wow.
I think anything mixed with Red Bull is ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
I tried it and I'm like, y'all crazy. This some dumb stuff.
Boy, that vodka and Red Bull though is the shit.
That's crazy.
It gets you drunk and hype.
No, you need to pick one. At this age, we need to know what we going through. Either we gonna be high or we gonna be low.
So I went to the linens, sundresses.
Yeah, I saw you shot that. How was it?
Yeah, it was off the chain.
It was it was a lot of people.
It was sold out. It was very interesting. The good thing is that you could smoke.
Oh, I would've been there
I'm
for
walking around with a camera around my neck, smoking a cigar, and I'm like, okay, y'all, hold on.
You so stupid.
But I had 2 inches of ash almost until this lady decided to bump into me. I'm like, she's like, oh, excuse me, baby.
You don't
So
know.
you already knew?
You don't know what you just did. You fucked up my picture.
So yeah, I got Rob out there, and he gifted me a cigar. In hindsight, I wish I had gotten one of them expensive ones.
What do you have? One of his
I ended up getting a Rude Boy because he had those. He had some Cohibas. I mean, he had
a good selection.
Rob had a good selection of cigars out there. And then I ran into our guy that was on the show that that owns Stogie's.
Oh,
Now,
Kenneth.
Yeah, Kenneth. Now y'all know that dude was smoking them Tatianas, and he tried to play it off. Oh man, I was smoking. I said, well, you was on the show, your ass talking about them Tatianas.
I thought he was smoking an acid that day. Not that that's better, but I'm just saying.
Well, I think what he took the wrapper off for one thing.
Oh,
So
did
we
he?
wouldn't know what it was. But no, it was thick. It was thick.
Yeah, I thought it was
Tatiana's
like
all
an
kinds of
acid.
things.
Yeah,
But he was
something.
like, well, that's what I smoke. He did say it.
He did say it?
Yeah, he did say that's what he smoked, and then Ike busted out a little bit.
No, I'm just.
Because I think I ran into him at the Tinderbox, and he was buying some Tatianas. I don't know why I had Tatianas set in my mind. So anyway, it was good. It was a really good event. I mean, that was.
Yeah, the pictures look great. Everybody looked really beautiful.
I saw a lot of people out there, man. I was like, damn.
I'm glad.
I didn't even know about it.
How you ain't know about it? That's the hottest event I did.
I did not even know about it. I'm sitting here tripping because I did not even know about it. I ain't know shit about it. I'm just gonna say. And then the only reason I knew about Ike, because Ike gonna post soon as he get there.
Oh yeah, because when I got to her event, I literally did not sit down for 4.5 hours. I walked around the whole time taking pictures. So,
Was it? Could you sit down?
I mean, there were places to sit, because they had the VIP indoors, and then they had a big tent outside. They had Devin Crutcher. They had several DJs. I mean, it was a good event. From the standpoint of if I had to buy drinks, I probably would have been a little upset because they was quite proud of them. But they had several signature drinks. I mean, you spend $15 for a drink. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, let me just bring something with me.
Well, I mean, you got to realize we done kind of got
bougie.
No, we done got spoiled.
That's a good word.
We really have. We got spoiled because we got this great sponsor that's giving us liquor and everything, and we keep liquor, and every time we come here, we drink as much as we want.
And we got liquor at home.
Got liquor at home. I mean, it's a liquor fest.
Liquor at home.
It's a liquor fest.
Yes.
And it's exactly what we want.
Yeah, it's exactly what you want to drink.
It's exactly what we want to drink, and so
what
it's
you
want
to make.
Yeah, so it's a little different. So that's why I say we got spoiled.
And my TikTok is full of beverages.
Yeah,
cocktails.
Different ones. I'm about to show you the one I got. I got a watermelon Ciroc with.
I hate Ciroc.
You don't like Ciroc? No. Oh, well then. It's.
Hey, you can put something else other than Ciroc in.
Yeah, you can do Absolute watermelon.
Okay.
They got a watermelon.
Okay.
It was basically we'll just say vodka and the watermelon Malibu rum.
Ugh.
Oh, you doing something sweet? Okay.
Yeah.
You talking about coconut? I can't do coconut.
No, it wasn't coconut.
Malibu is everything coconut.
It's coconut. I hadn't made it. I just saw it. I just
send
saw
it to me too. Send it to me anyway. Let me take a look at it.
I don't get it. I can do it almost every fruit, but coconut.
You sound like Angie. She doesn't like coconut.
I do not like coconut at all.
She will go out of her way to avoid coconut in pretty much anything.
Yeah. Really? I
love
like coconut.
Curry that has coconut milk in it.
What?
But the curry overtakes the coconut milk.
Right. Okay.
But if for some reason coconut, and we're like, I can make the best coconut cake. Yeah, you can have that shit.
I love coconut. My mom used to make a coconut pie.
My mom used to make that coconut. You know that all those fruits and shit, and then they put coconut.
Ambrosia.
Yeah, that shit.
Oh yeah, I love that. My mom used to make that.
Kimberly over there having a
going back.
Yeah, she had a flashback.
But you know what? We have the man, the myth, the legend on the show.
What?
Now what's making him a myth? I can see the man.
Well, I don't know what to make the myth, but
what's
it
the
just
legend?
sounded good right here.
Oh, you just making it. Okay.
I made up
trying
everything.
to intro him in.
Yeah, I'm trying to. You kind of messed that up, but that's cool.
Well, I was just trying to figure out what the myth part is. He sitting right there? Are we supposed to pretend like we don't see him? I just was missing the whole. I'm sorry. Bring it back.
I'm just gonna say that the times that I have to interact with Antoine, all of them have been good.
All of them has been good. Yeah, he's a fun dude.
This y'all first time
everybody like him.
No, we've hung out. We've hung out when they broke into my car. We hung out that night.
He used to come by the studio all the time. We were working on a project together, and he used to come by the studio all the time. And Antoine was always good for one idea a day. And once he got that one idea, that was it. Done.
Like,
Matter of fact, don't ask him for nothing else.
Don't even ask shit else.
I think that's fair because then it becomes I'm a consultant. So I'm here for the one a day.
And then it was Antoine who taught me the term me day. I didn't know what the fuck that was. I was like, what the hell is that?
I'm sorry to hear that. When did you learn that term?
That was about 6 years ago.
Damn. And you 50 what?
Whatever.
Okay, my bro.
I did not know
well, we're
what
going to let him introduce that to the bros because y'all obviously need this term in your life.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm
So you know what it is.
Is a me day is the same? That's the same as a mental health day.
No.
Oh, what?
No, it's something else.
Well, wait a
Well,
minute.
at the time it wasn't. He's shaking his head like that's what it is.
I
But
had a person said, "Yeah, I'm gonna take a mental health day." I'm like, "What the hell is that?"
My job actually says that all the time. You guys take me days. Oh, no, not me days, but take mental health days.
well, you got to do that shit now. But
they don't
back,
wanna lose
But
the-
back
lose
when
the
he
people.
said it, back when he said it, they wasn't doing that shit. And that's the shit that millennials came up with, them damn me days and shit. Oh, I'm gonna take a me day.
Where everybody's,
Oh
what's
my
the word?
God, I gotta take a day for myself.
I'm having a panic attack.
Yeah. And then the bad thing is then you got these celebrities who are rich. Well, I dropped out of this tennis tournament because of my mental health. And then everybody like, oh my God, thank you for saying that because I was feeling that way too. But you only make $15 an hour. So.
You gonna let them people have their day. They are so glad that they can talk about it openly without the judgment, Fabian.
They got judgment. I'm like old girl said, back when we were growing up, did you even know what the fuck gluten was?
Hell, come
Nope.
no.
We didn't know what that was. We know what what's the skin thing?
Eczema?
Eczema. I had never heard that until Isaac said it one day.
Yeah, one of my
I was
kids.
like, what
had
the hell
it.
is eczema?
Yeah, one of the kids had it.
Well, some of this stuff is because of how they do the food now.
Yeah.
We didn't have that issue.
We didn't have any of that shit.
Yeah.
No. And then when you was growing up, how many of your friends was allergic to peanuts?
I couldn't think of not one.
I can't think of not one. We had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches sitting around.
The most I could think, my brother had allergies really bad. That was
I had
it.
allergies. I mean,
that was it.
Yeah, that was it. But we didn't
Like
have any
somebody
of this stuff.
specifically allergic to something.
But now you can't even.
Everybody
see.
allergic to everything. Shea
Yeah.
butter,
Yeah.
don't touch me. Don't do
Did
it.
you use soap today?
You gotta be plain soap now.
What's in that? I don't eat that. Don't eat what? What's in? What you don't eat? What's in it?
All right, Smoke Fam, we're gonna take a quick
So we
break.
talk to the myth,
The man,
mystery, whatever.
the myth, the
Oh,
legend.
wait a minute. And we got a pairing. So, I'm gonna already admit, I was like hunking my nose up when you said what we was drinking, what R&R, what Rick left behind. But it's actually pretty good. I'm actually, I'm almost, if you look, I'm almost.
I'm done. I got
yeah.
this break. I got to make
Nah,
me another.
I don't know if I'll have another one, but this one was good.
I bet if I open that Weller's up, you have some.
Woo, let's do this. Man, yeah, I gotta tell y'all something when we come back after this break.
All right, Smoke Fam, we'll be right back.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Smoke Podcast. We had a very spirited break.
We calm Kim down. You coming back next week?
It's Kimberly, but
Kimberly? Oh,
Damn, Fabian, we was almost had her back. And you called the wrong name. You messed it up. We'll try again at the next break.
Kimberly, I'm so sorry. Do you need another drink, baby?
absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm just ready to get this show over with.
Wow.
Come on,
man.
welcome our guest.
It's Wednesday. You know where she's trying to go?
I know.
Wind down
No,
Wednesday.
they
And they got
That don't have
Little.
nothing to do
Courtney
with
Little.
nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing
Courtney.
to do with nothing.
Okay.
Y'all in here getting on my nerves today.
What's going on? You don't have no gun in that purse, do you?
Hey, she know how to carry hot sauce with her now. You know. You know.
Her
some hot sauce that way.
Vaseline and razor blades.
Dang.
What is
kind
the
of woman do you think I am?
What's the Vaseline and razor blades? What's that do?
The Vaseline?
Yeah,
I never heard that.
I thought you were supposed to put it on your knuckles to keep your knuckles from. I don't know.
Vaseline and razor blade. Anyway, Antoine, what's going on? You know what? I'm sorry. Antoine, what's going on, man?
Clucking up.
No, that's how he.
Antoine?
Antoine. It's supposed to be Antoine. Is it? Am I not right?
That's what my mama named me.
Antoine.
Antoine.
But it's spelled Antoine.
Say it one more time.
Antoine.
Spell it.
Antoine.
Antoine.
And
So Antoine is not illegal, but you can pronounce it both Antoine and Antoine.
Oh,
well, see, I've never known that. So from now on, I will go out of my way, just like with my friend Kimberly. I used to
call her
say Kim,
Kim.
and she would like that's not my name. So
I know.
say it one more time, Antoine.
You did it perfect. Let's find out.
Antoine.
No, here's the funny thing. On my Siri, I changed her to the German speaking lady, right? And I said in my car,
She's like English.
call Antoine Dandridge. Calling Antoine Dandridge.
Siri got it right. We
Siri got
had
it right.
conversations about that.
Antoine.
Wow.
Antoine, what's going on, man?
I'm doing good, Fabian. How are you?
I
So
can't
good to be
complain,
on the
man.
Smoke Podcast finally.
Well, I mean,
Finally, how long you been trying to do?
Look, my people been trying to contact the show producers for a long time.
Not the show
I
producers.
finally made it on the show. Listen, I don't know who had to pay what for me to be here today.
My ear hurt.
But y'all need to start paying y'all money and getting on this show because it's worth the sponsorship if you got it in your budget.
if you got it in your
got it
budget,
in
there
your
you go.
budget.
There you go.
Amen.
There you go. What's going on, man?
I'm doing good, man. So glad to be here, man. Just chilling, working hard, and really enjoying.
When you say working hard, what you doing?
You know,
You look like you don't got no job.
how does it look?
Like that. I'm just playing. Ooh, don't come for me. Ooh.
I wasn't gonna do it. 'Cause you look like you ain't got good sense, but when you open your mouth,
I got plenty.
I know,
got
you
plenty
got a
of
little something up there.
sense.
No, I'm serious. I mean, I'm an organizer. This has been a crazy year.
Yeah.
You know, for a bunch of different issues, especially repro rights. And
Yeah, because what is your job at Planned Parenthood?
I'm a black organizer program manager
Well, I know you're black, but why you say you're a black organizer?
because it's very specific.
is that your actual title
absolutely.
on your card?
Yes, I tell anybody organizing the black community is one of the toughest jobs you'll ever have. to
No,
do.
but your job is black organizer. It
Yes.
says on your card,
Yes.
black.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's an
And-
EEOC problem, man.
It's not an EEOC problem. No, it's actually a inclusion solution. You know, so many times we're just like left out of the conversation intentionally.
Oh wow.
And sometimes unintentionally. So when I actually had the opportunity to name the program myself, and I specifically wanted to be black because I wanted people to associate the black voices of Planned Parenthood.
So
like,
you don't
with
do
us all.
shit with white people. I gotta ask a question.
To be honest with you, I used to, but I specifically, when I got the skill sets where I wanted to expand, I realized it was needed more in our communities.
Wow.
And honestly, I think a lot of our white supporters who were very familiar with my work was excited about me going to doing it.
So let me ask you.
So really, that mean they didn't have to do it.
Yeah, basically. Oh, we got a black guy. We got a black to do that.
We gotta go to the hood. Who wants to go this week?
Antoine.
That's
Antoine.
funny. That's funny. That's the way you would think that, right? But it actually started out as a fellowship. What happened was a lot of black folks could come to me like, "Hey, how you get your job? How you do what you do?" And I'm not one of those people that believe in being the lone ranger in the organization. So I created a fellowship to attract more young professionals to advocacy work and policy work around repro rights, in particular
that's
Planned
nice.
Parenthood. So
that's what's
the
up right
fellows
there.
were the ones who actually lifted me up into the role that I'm in now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Give you your flowers right now.
And by the way, big shout out to Cherise Scott, founder and executive director of Sister Reach.
I know her.
She actually matched
Yeah.
the first grant that I got from Planned Parenthood. She matched it,
That's what
and
I'm
I was
talking
able to bring on my first 5.
I mean, I can match it if it's only like $100 or something.
Let's talk. Let's talk.
Wow, that's what's up.
But
right there.
but that has to be something to. I mean, curiosity. When people introduce you, do they tell you? Do they say what that actually is? You do
but there are black organizers all across the nation. So people
really?
know.
That is a thing now.
Yeah, I mean-
wow. I thought this country was too woke for something like that.
No, America's,
I don't believe we woke.
Absolutely. I mean, it could be taken either way, but I think that black people have been leading a lot for a long time, and I think what's been happening, what you've been used to seeing, is people craft our work as their own.
Right.
100.
So now
Facts.
now we're in a
Yep.
place where we're able to say, no,
No,
this
no,
is,
no,
this
no, I
belongs
did
to us.
this.
And a part of my job is also too being very clear within our organization, certain things do not belong to Planned Parenthood.
Right,
We need
right.
to leave it in the community where it belongs, with the rightful organizations or
Right,
organizers
right.
and other groups.
No,
And I guess my question is, how has the reversal of Roe versus Wade affected you guys?
Woo. Well, of course, in
got
Tennessee.
big on you, didn't it?
Oh my God, yeah. It's I mean, we don't have abortion access in Tennessee, so anybody who want to have an abortion has to go to Illinois.
do you
the
answer?
closest.
Do you deal with that a lot?
Every
Especially
day.
since you're the black dude.
Oh, absolutely. I deal with it from everybody, black and white, actually.
Right.
You know, which I really hate that in our community we don't talk a lot about options of family planning, because in what I've learned working for this organization the last 8 years, every cultural group, every race actually have it as a component of conversation for their children and their families.
Really?
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
So what's the disconnect? Is it shame, fear? What is
Absolutely,
it?
there's been a lot of shame. I mean,
Because how it's been presented.
how it's been presented, and honestly, people just don't really. People got to get used to trusting black women experiences.
Right. That's
Around
true.
black folks who have babies is the new term for
Right.
it. Folks who have babies, or carry children, or decide they want to pursue a family, and it's all. And I want to be very clear for so many people: it can be an individual decision or a family decision. We support all forms of that because we just don't know a person's story.
Right.
But
And you shouldn't have to go through that alone.
you shouldn't have to go through the long. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I
lot.
remember right before I started this particular role, what gave me one of the things that inspired this role, I was hosting participating at a job fair at a local HBCU, and a young lady kept following me around, and she kept just following me. Then when I talked to her, she kind of a little stank attitude, but being a professional, I'm never going to respond. I'm just going to continue to be open because you never know what a person's story is, right?
Right.
Later on, found out this young lady had moved here from Chicago, go to school, got into a relationship with a guy. Relationship got abusive. She woke up one day with a black eye, busted nose, and realized she couldn't do this anymore. Went and had an abortion. How she got the money, don't know, by herself, and never told anybody, not even her parents. And I realized she came from and she was afraid because she came from a family who was really big in church, and she didn't know how to talk to her parents about it. And they told her before she left, if you come back here with a baby, we are not paying for you to go to school no more. And she didn't want to let them down. And so her going through that by herself, I remember thinking to myself, wow, we got to do something about this.
The conversation.
And
I just
you know,
think it
and
needs to be more open.
And that's one of the things that because I remember when you started at Planned Parenthood, because hell, you were the black guy handing out condoms.
The condom distributor.
You were the condom
with
guy.
a master's degree.
Yeah, man. And I was like, you doing what? And but you don't know how far that went and how many people you really impacted with that, especially in the black community.
So crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like literally that program ended up becoming the largest sexual wellness product distribution program in the entire state. It's still happening right now. I remember when we celebrated our 2,000th condom distribution, and that was been probably more than that. I had no idea it was preparing me for what was going to be my future. Yeah. Like I literally, like what people were studying in the books in public health, I knew it from the ground, just like that.
Wow.
But I also realized there was a lot of inadequacy in the black community around sex education. I would be in a barbershop. I'd be talking to a granddad, a son, a grandson in one conversation, and all three of them would have three different ideas around like an STD and how would it impact them, or didn't know this conversation. So we just needed to. It's so much more work that's needed.
We just don't have those type of conversations.
That's the deal. We don't have those conversations.
We don't have those conversations because and then I remember growing up, and my grandfather, he was like, yeah. Oh boy, he done got them damn crabs on them and everything. I done had about 5-6 times. Ain't no big deal. I'm like, really? Just eating up on you like that? Or you got that damn gonorrhea.
It's in there. Yeah.
What they call it?
That clap. Yeah. And then what scared me about that is my grandfather used to say, well, I said, Dad, how do you get rid of that? Well, son, what they do, they stick a rod up in your shit and they hit it with a hammer. I'm like, what?
Ooh.
That's some misinformation.
Wow, yeah.
And this is my grandfather.
He was trying to scare you out of getting it. That's what that was.
I was like, wow, okay.
He didn't refer you to like your doctor or the health department or nothing like that?
We talking about a 70-year-old man. You know, he was like, man, they had home remedies for everything.
Oh my goodness.
But they work. It's just like it's just like we were talking about earlier.
The hammer work?
Hell, I don't know.
Oh,
You never found out?
because Dr. Champion, he had his remedies that for the most part would work.
But wasn't Dr. Champion an actual doctor, though?
He was. Oh, you talking about?
I'm just saying, like, he may have had a remedy. Like,
He was an actual
he
doctor.
was an actual
Real
doctor.
doctor.
Like, and just for the record, by the way, if you ever think you have any STDs and STIs, please go to your local health department or Planned Parenthood. We actually do STD, STI screening.
But now here's the funny thing. So in the last 2 or 3 weeks, well, last 2 months, I say, I done had 2 friends of mine. You send me Antoine's number, and I ain't think nothing of it. I was like, oh, they talk to Antoine, and because honestly, I forgot why anybody would call you other than, hey man, we're having this, we're doing. I forgot all that, and then, oh yeah, man, Antoine had to hook me up. Really?
Man, listen, it was so fun. I was that guy in the organization, with that black person in the organization arguing every time they say, we're to reap our rights in Tennessee for black and brown people. And they would always lead in with that statement. And I would be the first one like, let's cut that statement. Is this. And I still have my feelings about it and what it means, because everyone loved to use the black and brown experience to garner the attention, but you got to make sure you also allocating proper resources and attention to those.
But hold on. Let's get it. They love saying black and brown people. What about
everybody?
White people?
Well, obviously, white people.
I mean, hell, didn't they? And they the one that started it, Planned Parenthood.
You know that when we go to, we're gonna take a trip down history, but I think one of the reasons why, because I think it did take away the inclusiveness of everyone having their own voice in it. Number one, but I have to be honest, when I did all that talking,
right,
and mind you, I was always campaigning this stuff with our teams, and black people were we weren't as concerned in some spaces. Some spaces we were. We were disjointed, disconnected based on religion or whatever our thoughts were around certain things. But I swear to God, Roe v. Wade overturned. It wasn't really like the first couple of weeks, but maybe like 3 to 6 months later, it was like almost every week. Somebody's calling me on the phone, panicking.
Right.
And it was everybody. It wasn't just like the people living loose in the street, as people say.
Right.
Loose in the street.
That's what black folks tell me. Y'all up here had giving these girls abortion. They running reckless. It wasn't reckless people. It was married people. It was Christian folks who were leaders in churches in some cases. Right. Couples who had they celebrated the graduation of a child, found out they were pregnant again. They was like, oh hell no.
Hey, so what's the percentage now? Do you have a new percentage?
I don't want to quote those numbers wrong off the top of my head. I don't have that information, but I can.
So what race is higher?
I think according to the Gumacha Institute, I think,
not the real quote.
Yeah, Gumacha Institute. I think it's the white women has always been the most. Yeah, and then next is black women. But I think is
that because of information and dollars?
It could be a couple different things. Because honestly, if you have a lot of money, you don't really have to go to a place to report an abortion.
My buddy could do it.
Well, yeah, that's really the case. When Roe v. Wade overturned,
or file down still.
I've heard folks have connections outside of the traditional roads.
Right.
Yeah.
But most of those folks who got those connections are definitely not black people.
Right.
So most of us hitting the road.
Gotta do a road trip, baby.
Doing a road trip.
We going up to Illinois.
And if you
now, is that where you've been directing everybody to go to Illinois?
Yes.
It's the closest, I think.
It is the closest. If you go to Planned Parenthood of Tennessee and North Mississippi webpage, there's a patient navigation portal, and we have a bunch of resources for folks who need to get there.
Wow. Oh wow!
Wow. So you gonna even help them get there?
Yeah.
Oh really?
You buy them a ticket and everything?
You got to drive.
You drive, but you may get some gas money support. You may get hotel support if you need it. Because keep in mind, those places now are more difficult to get appointments because everybody's trying to get there from black states. So when we say black states that are not having abortion,
I was getting ready to say, what is you the black dude? And now you got black states.
You done renamed everything.
Yeah,
Come on with the black.
Black. But it's a lot of good things that's coming out of it too, because I think what really happened is that we started really learning more about our local state government,
right,
and how it really works. It really did expose. Because I promise you, at one point I used to feel like we were part of this Lone Ranger organization.
Right.
I didn't realize we had so many friends now willing to come out and listen to what we've been talking about. I mean,
know what?
Because it started to affect them.
It started to affect them.
Yes.
Got to sit in on this this discussion about poverty in not just in Memphis but in the country.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. I was actually shocked how many people did not look like me that were on our side. I mean, it was you know, if there was 500 people there was probably 400 white and probably 100 black. That was the ratio.
That's interesting.
And just to hear them, you know, kind of to your point when you say talk about this state of Tennessee that we live in. Yeah, East Tennessee is crunk.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all think that you know that Shelby County is bad.
Once you get out of Memphis.
There's a whole, and then you know this is the trip part. And
That's what people don't understand.
I'm gonna talk
why
about
we
this
have
and
a
I'm gonna
BLE.
Yeah, they were talking about Shelby County, you know, needing all this help, and then the guy basically broke it down. He said, "Listen, it ain't Shelby County." He said, "You got other counties in the eastern part of the state that are way poorer than Shelby County, and it had way more problems."
Yes.
But here's the deal: you got people who know that they could vote to fix some of the problems, but because there's brown and black and other people behind it that would get the help, they vote against it. What kind of, you know, when I heard that, I just shook my head. I'm like,
you remember I told you that, and I use this story a lot.
Please don't tell
I
me.
have a friend. No, I'm gonna tell it again because it's an important story.
Of course it is.
I have a friend. I have a friend, and he loves talking to me about politics. He's a Republican.
Again.
And he was like, "Well, you know, man, you know, you guys, you know, are just killing this welfare system."
Really?
And I was like, "You guys as in black people?" And he's like, "Well, yeah." And I said, "Well, dude."
And this a friend of yours?
Well, it gets worse. I said, "Well," I said, "This is funny because once you get outside of Shelby County, it's lily white." And he's like, "I said, do you really think that all that the issue is black people being on welfare?"
They do.
And he's like, "Well, yeah." I said, "Well, out of all the people that I know, your ass is the only one I know is on welfare." I said, "Didn't you tell me that it would hurt your family if you went out and got a job?" Well, it would. I said, "And haven't you told me that, you know, you've been on every welfare system that it is?"
Oh,
well,
I know who you're talking about now. When you said that, I know who you're talking
I'm like,
about.
dude.
Yeah,
I said, how the hell
Put a
did they
picture on the screen.
I said, how the hell did they convince you? And I'm like, how the hell did they convince you that we're the problem?
Because
It's
that's
more
what
of
they want to
y'all.
believe.
So listen, there was an attorney there. He's a civil rights attorney, like a practicing civil rights attorney right now. He's won big cases and stuff. He talked about the fact that he grew up dirt poor. His dad was the guy that drove around in the truck that picked shit up off the side of the roads and took it back and fixed it to resell it.
Oh, Lamont Sanford.
Exactly, kind of like that.
Yes.
But here's the trip part. He admitted, he says, my mom and dad were racist. They were racist.
Wow.
He said, but guess what? They were racist to the point where, and they didn't have anything, but they would go out of their way to make sure that black people had less. They felt like they were better than us, even though they didn't have nearly as much. And then I was talking to another friend of mine, and he was like, Ike, when I grew up, he said, if you had a good job or you had a good connect or whatever, you didn't talk about it. He said, cause, and then I mentioned to him, I said, well, they burned down whole cities, whole towns, and it was a drunken rage of jealousy.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's always
And that
been the
has
case.
not changed.
It
I
hasn't
don't
changed
get
at
why
all.
we are always surprised by their behavior towards us.
And I'm not.
I'm always
That's
in
just it.
shock.
I'm not.
But I think when you talked about, you know, what it brought out and what you're able to see from the political side of it, it's just the knowledge. The information is just not getting out there.
Information is
but
knowledge.
But I always make this argument. We're talking to each other. We all know. So the people that is not actually reaching, how do we get there?
That's that advocacy that he's talking about.
It is such a tough thing because it takes all of us. I think before it used to be the organization was like, well, this is my issue and I want to own it. Everybody want to have ownership of the
everybody
issue.
wanna have ownership of
And
it.
we're just not there no more. One thing that shocks me about being an organizer, number one, I didn't realize it was such a robust,
Black organizer, man. Come on.
just an organizer in general. Like, I didn't realize the discipline was so overt. It's almost kind of like being a film producer. You don't really know exactly what organizers do, but they do a lot of shit.
They do a lot of stuff.
Like this, we go to boot camps, we go to train. It's like we train, we deploy, like literally on how to get these things out. And what I would like to see in our community is more relational, what we call relational organizing. And it's just like really what we're doing, sitting around a table having a conversation.
While we smoke and drink.
While we smoke and drink, because we listen to us, number one. And I think our experiences really do shape how people see it.
Oh,
That's true.
You know,
That's
it's really true.
And it's funny that I had a friend of mine. He was talking to me about the Smoke podcast. He said, "Well, you guys get into a lot of issues." I said, "Well, we get into a lot of issues while we drink and smoke. That's the easiest way to conversate.
We call it pleasure activism.
Exactly.
Yes.
Ooh, I like
Exactly.
that.
Pleasure
like
activism.
We need to put that on there.
Pleasure activism.
Make that the
But
title of the
it's
show.
really crazy because we was talking about East Tennessee earlier, and we used to have a joke we call East Tennessee, like Knoxville in particular. One of my colleagues and I used to call it the White Memphis because we're like this big conglomerate of Democrats in Tennessee, and Memphis shakes. By the way, Memphis Democrats are pretty powerful in the state,
Right.
And but
They hate to see them coming.
I hate to see us come. Ask them all in Nashville.
Come these motherfuckers.
East Tennessee had this small but very powerful group of Democrats, and they're so powerful because they can't back down. Like
They
they
got
just,
no- they
they ain't
got
got no
to.
choice. They got to.
Fight,
Like the people they
fight
deal
or die.
with, like they literally risk their life to do it. You know, we just
Fight
get
or
to
die.
do it.
That's it.
So, but it's cool. But I'm telling you, like what's happening though, like in Tennessee with that Tennessee 3, like I feel like it just goes to show how powerful we are in this state because Tennessee is like showing the rest of the United States what we're really up against in this
Just
country.
have one little caveat to that. Though.
What's that? Come on, man.
My issue with the whole, I'm proud of I'm proud of them. I'm proud of what they
Tennessee
did. The Tennessee 2. Right, I used to. Okay, Tennessee too. But anyway,
It's true.
This is
She
true.
kept her
The Tennessee
job.
too. She kept her job. It ain't even about that. But my problem is that why did it take those two? They had been before those two got there
Because
they had been experiencing this issue.
Yeah, but
so you
if-
mean
if
to
they had
tell me
gotten-
these young, because they were, first of all, I'm happy that they were not integrated into the whole system. So they came in unashamed. So what happens to that? Unapologetically black.
Yeah.
What happens to that? And
What-
then the people that escorted them out were black people too. What is wrong with y'all?
Here's the thing, and this is why there's a lot of times I do give my head off to millennials. They have changed because one thing millennials are not scared of is losing a damn job.
They're not.
Right, they not,
Yep.
and you.
And
That's,
I
and,
never
that's,
thought
and,
it.
and that's my
Scared of
whole
losing
point.
a job.
That's my. If you
Everybody
if you
else
fearful, you
there
don't
is
need that
scared.
job.
Yeah, everybody
that
else
job.
there is scared of. I mean, cause I know Justin personally, and Justin like, hey man, what you gonna do? I mean, I'm already ahead of this. I'm ahead of that. I can get another job. I just want to, I had a right to protect my people,
Right.
And that's what I was doing.
You're just
And now, and then you get this older white lady, and did you hear the tape of the that was leaked
leaked.
of the Republicans saying
I
y'all
can't
threw
believe
us
you
on the
didn't
bus?
vote with
No,
us.
y'all threw us under the bus because
Yeah.
it did. I've never been called a racist, and now we all look like racists. Yeah, you do.
Well,
y'all
just
kept the
because
white
you
lady.
weren't called a racist doesn't mean you're not a racist.
But they were called one.
But
And
Right.
and I agree with you. I agree with you. Just
Right.
because you wasn't called don't mean you
because
haven't had
the
racist
actions
tendencies.
in that chamber and what it has exposed is
Yeah.
that racism and that level
It's
of
been there, like,
And-
It's
and-
been
and-
there.
It's been a lot
and
of
honestly,
physical
Right.
if
and
you
violence,
look at
yeah.
it, if you take the whole black and white thing out, and you look at what happened, dude threw them under the bus, rolled that bitch over.
So
and
I
run
got a
it.
question. So what are you guys concerned or issue with Gloria?
I don't have an issue.
No issue.
Gloria, who's Gloria?
you talking about the white?
Is she the 3?
Yeah, she was one of the 3. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Well, for one thing, she didn't lose her
Representative
job.
Gloria Johnson.
Yeah, but
She didn't lose her
so
job,
it wasn't
so
her.
why-
So
She
can
a
we say this
3.
though? It wasn't.
She
It
is a
wasn't.
2.
She stood. I think
She stood with
She got
them.
kudos because she stood with them, and also you have to realize too that's part of tactics.
But can I say this though, Antoine? White people never think they're gonna lose their job.
Well, that's true too.
Can I
And
be?
then she's a white woman,
I want to
too.
say this because I was definitely there. She was on the stand like everyone else. We didn't know what was going to happen. I think that was because you keep in mind the people.
She
the
knew
peop-
what was gonna happen.
The people. Well, her
She
people,
knew she was not touchable.
Well, the Republicans were the one who voted, and I'm gonna tell you why they did that. In my opinion, why I think they did that, they wanted to show that they have the ability to save who they wanted to save. That was really a spectacle to show them who was in power. They were determined that day to show all of us who was in control.
Right, I agree with that.
So where they end up losing control in that situation was that they didn't realize that the guys can be reinstated back into their seat. Of course, they wanted to drag it out because they have other policies they wanted to pass really quick while they was out. But I think it was so many. We can go down the list with that. But I think that was also just a spectacle to show all of us who was in control, and they lost.
I 100% agree.
They embarrassed themselves in front of everybody.
In front of the nation.
But let me ask you this: what would been the narrative? How bad would the narrative been if they would have got rid of Gloria? Also.
Oh, it would have been.
It would have been worse. I don't think it would have been worse.
I don't think it would have been worse.
I think it would have been. I think it would have been.
Because I sit there and agree with dude because yes, he did throw them under the bus by keeping her and getting rid of the two black dudes.
Who was he?
The one person, the one guy he was the only one that voted that she should keep her job.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All the rest of them, they all wanted all three of them out, basically.
But Antoine, you were there. They were friends, though, right? The guy that voted to keep her in was actually in her district, from Knoxville or wherever.
That would make sense to me.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's my whole point. She knew to a certain degree she didn't have nothing to lose.
I don't know.
It didn't look like it played out that way, to me.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I just have so much respect for somebody who would say, "Cluck this job, cluck what you talking about." And if that was her, then I'll take it back. Mad respect.
No, she was cool.
Yeah.
But
she was cool. But when you,
I guess when I look at this, I think of all. If we're gonna talk about allies, like you mentioned earlier, with all the people who've been dealing with this all these years, having their microphones cut off, because it's been going on since I've been going to the Capitol for the last 8 years.
So
I would have liked to know, any other white person why haven't white people stood up either?
100%.
Why haven't white people stood up at the well?
Because they were afraid to lose their job.
They're afraid to lose their job, and they're afraid to go back to their people
after the fact.
But watch this right here, though. And they talked about this. Shelby County, we got a majority black city council. We got a black mayor. Shelby County mayor is black.
Shelby County Lee Harris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he black.
My fault.
Yeah, and we got
a. Damn.
You weren't talking about
my fault. When you say Shelby County, I automatically think Memphis. Go ahead.
Yeah,
which is what we should.
And we have a black county commission.
Right.
A majority.
Speaking of,
so now we find ourselves in a position we've never been in before. We got the power.
Right.
We got the power, but here's the caveat.
All skin ain't kin. All skin ain't kin. That's it.
Listen.
And you know what? I heard a brother get up and say that yesterday. He talked about the fact that Shelby County's got all these people.
Yeah.
But his last statement, but all skin ain't kin.
All I would tell you is it's a lot of stuff being exchanged behind closed doors.
And all I can tell you is that y'all ought to be ashamed of yourselves for not reading and knowing what money belonged in this city and then not using it. I'm just going to say that right now.
Can we stop?
We're going to take a quick break.
Let's take a break on that one.
I need to reach. I need to. We drinking this really good. We drinking this really good Uncle Val's gin.
Y'all ought to be ashamed of yourselves letting all that money leave Shelby County because y'all ain't read nothing.
On that note, Smoke Family.
I'm done.
We'll be right back.
All right, y'all. Welcome back. Man, we spent 30 minutes and we didn't even mention the damn drink or the cigar we smoked.
We got deep. But that's
Yes.
what happens when you drinking good liquor and you smoking a good cigar and you having a conversation.
So,
It's just a conversation, though. So don't come to us in our DMs talking crazy. We said what we said.
And then we don't care.
They don't care. Make sure y'all have y'all facts straight when you come to the Smoke Podcast, or don't comment at all.
Yeah.
Or come on a day when we have had old fashions and we'll excuse it all.
There you go. that may call for a good show too. I love a good old fashioned.
I know. Isaac, he used to make us some, but he started.
So anyway, today on the show we had our good friend Rick from R&R Wines and Spirits at 3481 Austin P in Memphis, Tennessee, out there in Raleigh.
Yeah, where you can expand your expectations and experience the possibilities.
Yes.
Right. Shout out Rick.
Rick brought us
like
some gin and tonic. So I'm gonna admit, and Kimberly, if you've noticed, she ain't even tried. I'm not a big gin drinker, but this is actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. This Uncle Val's botanical gin is actually really good.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah,
I trust y'all.
I'm feeling, but you know what, Kimberly, I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
If you have bad experiences with something in college, that should stick with you for life.
College, right?
Yeah.
That's
because
what
I got some stuff, Goldschlager and all that shit, and what's that other stuff that
Jägermeister?
Yes,
Yeah.
I will never fuck with that.
MD 2020 for me.
Never.
Yes.
Freshman year.
Morgan Davis.
Never.
Yes.
Yeah.
Morgan Davis.
Mad Dog.
Is that what it's Mad Dog?
Morgan
Mad
Davis.
Dog.
Morgan Davis 2020.
Yes.
No thanks.
Or
Bottom shelf.
Cisco.
My stomach can't even.
I
Let
found out the hard
Let
way.
me tell
No
y'all
thanks.
about Uncle Val's. This is, and you know what? I've had the Snoop Dogg Indigo gin, which is it's infused with strawberries. It was actually pretty good. This one, Uncle Val's Botanical Gin, presents a complex and pleasing sensation of flavors. The botanicals were chosen because they were not only Uncle Val's favorite cooking ingredients, but also happened to make a truly and unique, smoothly delicious gin. And this is the gin by itself is good. It's definitely I think I could sip it. And then the tonic. I don't like tonic water, but Fabian, that's what you made. You made a
I put ginger ale in yours.
Okay,
That's why
it was
yours
good.
was good.
Yeah, I put
He
ginger ale in
sweetened
yours.
it up for you.
Yeah.
Now, me and Antoine is drinking straight gin and tonic.
Yes.
But I'm a gin and tonic guy.
Yeah, I'm not.
I love
I'm
gin
not.
and tonic.
I'm not. And to Fabian's point, Kimberly had a bad experience, and she ain't trying that ish no more.
I'm not.
And you know what?
I
I cannot blame anybody because those college experience does live with you, fam.
Oh, yeah.
But I do
They
want to
do
say,
it.
I think a person who drinks gin would like this drink, could really appreciate this drink.
Yeah, this is a good gin.
It's very refreshing.
Yeah,
version
and,
of gin.
and that's what I remember.
That's why Rick
I remember
brought
when
it.
Rick brought it. He said that this is a good summertime sipper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Summertime.
Hey.
So we always talk about cigars and the price. We smoke some
Expensive cigars.
ass cigars. So I wanted to try to do something completely different today. So when Fabian said I pick up some cigars, I decided to try the factory smokes. Now Kimberly decided, she's like, I have had it and don't want to try it again.
She was adamant about it.
She was adamant. She's like,
I ain't gonna even smoke.
I'm good.
she's like, I'm good.
I'm good.
But to me, and then you're smoking it. Does it have a little sweet when you?
And I'm smoking it too. It's got a little
sweet.
sweet.
It's got a little
sweet.
sweet.
Yeah.
It's got
Not
little
a bad smoke, but I do get what she's saying because factory smokes is not for everybody. I mean, factory smokes to me is a good starter cigar.
Yeah, it's
gonna
better
say,
When
than
you
a
don't want to spend a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you gonna go that route.
And then
Tatiana?
No, I don't know her sister.
I will admit, I only had to light this
Don't
up
that
like
bitch do
25
hair?
times.
What was
That's
the
'cause you
movie?
was talking
Don't that
too
bitch do hair?
Yeah, it's typically when you have to keep lighting it, it's because you
Talking too much.
Talking too much.
Talking too much, man. That's what I was going to do.
And that's the cool thing about a factory smoke. If you take the sticker off of it, nobody knows what you smoke.
That's true.
Somebody going to puff this shit and check the hell out of you.
No. It's when
First of all, don't nobody do that. Don't you be walking around here cigar shaming people.
Listen, they shame everything else. Might as well shame a cigar.
Isaac will shame somebody smoking a Tatiana. Oh, and you will too,
I
Kimberly.
just crack on it.
I do not. I am here
crack
for
on
the
it.
Tatiana smoker.
You know what?
Didn't you coin the term putting sugar in the air?
I said that, but I also said that the fragrance, we sometimes need those air fresheners to break up. That's what I said.
So I did ask Rob. I said, towards the end of the event, I said, what have you sold more of? And he said he had sold more Tatianas. He sold a lot of the Beale Street cigars because they were pushing them.
Right.
But more people by far, and it was more women at the sundresses and linens than more women than men. Even though the Qs put it on, but like I could count the women smoking Tatianas just living their best life.
I'm here for it. It's whatever makes you happy.
I'm just glad to see how people having a good time.
Right.
That's what it is.
Everybody looks so beautiful. I'm here for it.
And then the cig, and that's still a big push to the cigar culture also.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
When did Memphis become a part of this cigar culture?
When we
I feel
started
like
the
it
Smoke
came.
podcast.
No. The Illuminati said. You better give him his credit. You better
the
give
Cigar Illuminati did say when he brought it to Memphis, the Illuminati,
it blew up.
It blew up.
Dang, you know what?
Okay,
and I
maybe I'm not
remember
part of
for,
the
I
in-crowd,
remember
'cause I
for
don't know
years,
who it is.
Tinderbox, the one on Poplar, that I guess they were selling pipes then.
Well, I mean, even the place on that's now closed on Union, them old cats, man, they were in it for years.
Yeah.
But
See, I
but
thought Havana
honestly,
Mix bought it to me.
but you know, but you got to realize something. But we always get into something late, but when we get into it,
We
get
in
into
it.
Dominated,
big.
yeah.
We dominate,
Dominating.
and that's kind of what happened. Because now you got people that you never would thought smoke cigars, and then
I get that
you know
a lot.
that even know what a good cigar is.
I get that a lot. Oh, you smoke? Oh, what you smoke? What you smoke? What you smoke? Yeah.
And what happened? And the funny thing that happens that everybody that are oh yeah, I just smoke. And they always pull out their little travel humidor. Oh, check it out. Oh, they check it out. See what I got.
You know you be doing it too.
Yeah. No, I mean shit.
You just pull out this. You pull out this cigar refrigerator
right here. Yeah.
You got a refrigerator right there. There you go.
We also got a podcast.
It's a humidor.
Oh, humidor.
Yeah,
I
come
call
on
it
now,
a
get it
refrigerator.
together.
He said little
refrigerator.
Well, you better get the lingo
So
right.
you think I got beer in there too, huh?
Look, I was gonna say, pass me one out of there.
Humidor.
Humidor.
So the factory smoke, I think I spent maybe $3 a piece for the
Oh, that's
cigar.
not bad at all.
Shit, what, you just pulling your pocket money?
No, I wanted to.
You
I
pulled
wanted-
out your little
I
change
wanted
from
to
last week.
see- I wanted to see if I had a friend of mine said, "Man, do you only smoke expensive cigars?" And I'm like, "No." I said, "It's just what I got." So this was to prove the point that it's a great cigar. We got one left, and I will easily sit outside and smoke that.
Yeah.
Let me
No
ask you
problem.
something, Kimberly. What's the most expensive cigar you purchase and smoke? You got to put the purchase part in it.
Oh well, then we got
You got a problem now.
we
Huh?
got a problem then.
So what's the most expensive cigar you smoked?
I've smoked a $120 stick before.
Shit.
I mean,
Did you blow out roses?
no, somebody, people just want.
Hey, let me ask you this. Could you tell the difference?
I felt like it was rolled really nicely.
Right.
I will give it credit for that. I felt like you could do that for any cigar though.
that's-
It burned really well.
To
too.
Kimberly's point, I think the most expensive cigar I've ever bought was in Vegas. I bought a Davidoff. I was at the Davidoff store.
Yeah, they
and
love they
and I
cigars.
bought- Yeah, they quite
They proud
proud.
of
I think
them
I paid like
motherfuckers.
$40 for a cigar.
And I did it.
that's
I did it
about
in
the most I
LA
paid
also.
for one, yeah.
But I think the most expensive one I've smoked was when we had Will on the show.
Oh, yeah.
He brought
Yeah.
the Eye of Davidoff, Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
But he
And I
gave
think that
me
was a
something to
50.
smoke that was
Yeah.
120. Yeah.
Yeah. I ain't at
Yeah,
that
one-
level.
I ain't at that list.
120.
I'm like
120
my
better come
guy
with a
that
bowl.
was at the. I'm like my guy was a tinderbox. Man, I know about 10 sticks is better than that shit.
That's crazy.
Like when everybody was smoking Opus X.
I had those.
Those
We
are
had those on the
really
show. They're
Good, though.
really
It's
good,
a
though.
really now when you say something like that, like it's a really
those
good.
are- I
Like
mean-
the hype behind that cigar is really good.
And I think I bought that for the show simply because for one thing I had a good week.
Give me $2.
Yeah, I got you $2. I had a good week and they had them in there. I said, we never had this on the show, so let's get it on the show. And that cigar was great.
I bet.
Yeah.
So
It's just some cigars you just remember.
So,
Yeah.
so I got a question for y'all experienced cigar folks. Like, so is paying more for a cigar always, does it always
No.
mean
No.
something better?
No,
doesn't
it does
mean
not.
that.
It don't mean
Yeah.
that at all.
It don't.
And really, it's about what your palate, like where you are, and like what do you normally
Yeah.
eat and drink and consume and
Okay.
all of that.
now, if you're doing it for the gram, then go
Yeah.
on
Don't
drop
do
you
it for the
$100
gram.
and
Don't
get you a
drop you-
cigar.
If you're doing it for the
like going-
gram, you gotta, you got this motherfucking secret X5 right here, man. G425 right here.
I will say that my first time ever smoking a real cigar, I was in Dominican Republic.
Really?
They rolled it for me on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
and it was
They
it was-
rolled it on the beach?
On the beach, yeah. They was and I bought a bunch of them home and gave them out. But they were really good. And they took me to a cellar where they keep them and age them. and you was able
yeah.
to shop and buy
That's a
them.
whole
So that was
nother
my
level.
first. That was my
See,
first
I mean,
time.
but that's more of an experience.
Yeah, there was an
That's more of an
experience.
experience.
I
And
went
so-
with
to the
chocolate
shop.
chocolate cigars and rum tour.
Yeah. That's see that is an experience, and you're gonna always have that experience, and you're gonna always love the experience. I think the best cigar I've had thus far was still a $12 stick.
Wow, I could believe that.
It's still a $12 stick, and I done had some $50 up. The other day I bought a $20 stick just because the dude said this is a real good stick, and it was good. But I could tell a stick is not for me if I get heartburn.
Yeah. Right. If I get if my head hurt the next day, I'm not smoking.
That's a good indicator for drinks, for alcohol. And oh God,
you just created a mess.
A whole mess over here.
And that's a carnal sin.
But that's the cool thing. That's like we always say, when you go to a cigar bar, get the cigar that you like, and then get something new. You know, so that if you don't like it, all right, let me bust out Old Faithful.
There you go.
Right.
Yep.
Because I will still say Rude Boy.
My go-to.
It's still a go-to for me.
Yep.
And even Cohiba Black is a go-to. Mm-hmm. And everybody got those go-to.
I like whatever Cohiba you want to give me.
You do. and, you're not kidding.
You ain't turning nothing down but a collar.
Nah, she put that shit in her humidor.
My travel humidor.
Yeah, travel humidor.
Yes.
You right.
So, we usually give somebody to smoke, and there's just a lot going on in this city. Today, we record on Wednesdays. The show drops on Fridays. Today, there was 4 kids that died in a house fire in South Memphis.
Wow.
And then here's the twist. They've arrested the father. So, I just the principal that used to be the principal of Melrose for over 30 years, LaVon Bridges, he passed away. And I think the thing that hit me the most was the guy, Joe Matera, the watermelon guy.
Yeah.
Shot and killed by a 15-year-old. And
trying to earn a living.
Yeah, he been selling watermelons for 30 years. He didn't want no smoke with nobody. He was just trying to do, take care of his family. He was 79 years. I think he was old. He was up there. He was in his 70s, and they took his life away.
He didn't deserve it at all.
Yeah, he did not deserve it. So,
and Cornelius, today, we want to shout him out.
Yeah, and Cornelius, I saw Cornelius walking up the steps. He's out of the hospital. He got shot.
Yeah, big up to Cornelius, man.
Yeah.
He's been
Cigar University.
Cigar University. He's been a big advocate of the smoke and supporter of the smoke. We had him on the show, man. He's such a cool dude. Wow. And I remember he came to your party, Ike, and we were sitting there smoking cigars and everything, and he was telling us about his path and everything, his past and all that. And I'm like, man, this is such a great guy. And to get shot on the freeway.
Yep.
Just driving down the freeway, a random.
The story that he tells, the bullet went past his heart, scraped his lungs, and came out his collarbone. And he's alive. So
it has to stop. And I was in Whitehaven, and I was at the stoplight. And
you can't be honking your horn at people no more.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that.
No, I'm serious.
No, you're right.
I'm so fearful now because that's what people are doing. Don't do
somebody
that.
step on your brand new shorts. Somebody just step on your shoes. All right.
Let me dust them off and keep it moving.
Because that's all it takes is a rag.
Yeah.
And this Corvette and then a Hellcat just started doing donuts at the stoplight
In the middle of nowhere.
In the middle, I'm like, wow.
This past weekend, right there by Hooters, I drove because I went to Tinderbox, which is in downtown Memphis, and as I'm driving up, you could see, and I saw the video that they were doing donuts in front of.
I saw that
in front of Hooters. I'm like. The first question that came to mind is, where was the damn police at?
But you know what? I will say this.
Right there.
I will say this. Shout out to Memphis Police Department, because what are you going to do? You chase them, you take a chance of somebody getting ran over.
Well, actually, when we were headed to the Symphony, it was a car chase, but the police couldn't chase them. You could see that they had to slow up.
And they know that.
In order, and the car was, and you could tell the police car was trying to keep up as best as he could without an actual chase.
Without endangering civilians' lives, because it's getting to the point it is not worth chasing them, and they know it.
Right.
Yeah.
But what you gonna have to do? Call in, catch his ass at the light. Mm-hmm. You have to do something.
So are people afraid to report now? Is what I'm hearing.
No, people ain't. People report it. They're not afraid to report it. They're reporting it, but the problem is, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and then they could be there, and 5 minutes later, they 5 miles away. I mean,
Right.
they
and
gone.
you have to catch them at the next light and then surround them, and you don't have enough police
I saw one video that was took place in Memphis, and it was out in Raleigh, where the police they threw the what is that thing they throw out in the street to make you bust your tires? Yeah, and they did that, and I don't know if they caught the guy or not, because all you saw was the car keep going. So
you know, they running on rims.
Yeah, they wasn't gonna get far.
Yeah,
it's just unfortunate that what we are, and you know, and I love
everybody's
those
talking
cars.
about it though.
But I love those cars.
I
love those cars, but I hate them at the same time.
Yeah,
Because
kind of like the Infinities.
Oh, dude! If you in Memphis, and I'm sure it's starting to be everywhere, and you can pretty much guarantee if you're on the road going home at night, there's gonna be an Infinity race
And an Infinity accident.
and they always have one bumper's discolored because they're getting it fixed. They have drive out tags
I wonder why that is.
Or no tags.
or no tags.
That's so strange.
because they stealing them. They you know, between stealing
We
them
got rid of
and-
our Infinity for that reason. We didn't want to
Yeah.
be caught up in an Infinity war.
Wow.
Not
Yep.
the reference.
So Antoine,
Yo,
how can people reach you on social media?
how can people? You can reach me on Instagram at Antoine Acts Up.
Of course, that would be your name.
Yeah, Antoine Acts
Because
Up.
he do act up.
Yeah, sometimes.
And,
I'm starting to
Antoine,
calm down a little bit.
How
though.
did we meet?
I actually met you first with some film you was directing and I auditioned for it.
Yeah.
And then we got in, I did it, and we filmed it. Never saw it again.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, just playing. But it wasn't your fault.
it's
It
true.
wasn't your fault. But it was a good production, and I thought you was like one of the most professional film folks I worked with that was from Memphis. Most of the other ones be like just action. Are you rolling yet? But anyway, now you were really good. Then the next time, I think when we came back for I Am Soul.
I'm so, yeah. With Jonathan Isom. Shout out to Jonathan.
Shout out to Jonathan Nyson, big bro.
And I think that's when I met you as well.
Yeah.
You know it probably was. I feel like I met you shooting some around somewhere too, and it was kind of like a whole. No, you was working on that film.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
I
he
am
was-
so-
yeah, he
Say
worked
what
on
show?
that
No, no,
down
no.
at down at BB King.
No, before that, he worked on that.
You worked on the film with us also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that's where I remember you from.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so we worked, did some stuff together, and you know, me and Antoine become because, well, like I say, you know, we were like I told you, we were editing, and he had this one idea, and that idea was the only idea he had all day.
Well, that's the only one you're going to get, I told you.
Baby,
Yeah, that's
listen,
all you gonna get.
Between trying to get in the idea between him and John.
Oh yeah. I
Look,
understand.
once I got one, I was out. I was tapped out. That was it.
Not
Like,
tapped out.
I'm done.
Was I that hard to deal with?
Woo, it was both of y'all together. When y'all get together, it's like this war of who got the biggest feet.
Well, I wear a size 12, so
And what size John wear?
10.
I wear 10 and a half is what he'll say.
You gonna give me my motherfucking half?
But no, it was just kind of that. But I felt like you guys had that side of it. I think I was one of the creators of that project, so I feel like so much work had been done before. I think by the time you came in, we just needed another eye. I would just
And like Antoine is the one that taught me what a me day was.
I can't believe I'm the first one to teach you that.
Yes, you taught me what a me. I mean, I still haven't taken a me day, but you are the one that was the first time I've ever heard that. With the story is, we were working on this project, and we needed to get in touch with Antoine. He would not answer the phone. I called John. Man, I've been trying to call that motherfucker too. What the hell? And so the next day he called back. Hey, what y'all want? I said, man, where you been? Oh, I had to take a me day, and we were both like, what the fuck is that? Well, you know, it's just a day for me.
Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm glad you brought that up because I never really unpacked the whole me day thing. I just kind of let you guys have that. But that probably a couple of years prior to that whole experience, I didn't realize that I was dealing with depression.
Really?
Because when you talk to your mama about it, black mama, she say, "Boy, you too young to go through depression. go out there and cut that yard." You know, type of thing.
Depression now is like gluten.
No, it really. When I was dealing with some serious depression, and the thing is, I had never talked to a therapist before until probably right around that time, right before I decided to quit my job and everything. And what happened was, I was at work one day, and I was just not myself. And one of our president at the organization was like, "Hey, you should go talk to a therapist. You know, you get these free therapy sessions with the job. So I decided to just try it. I never wanted to do it because I thought people who went to therapy was crazy.
Right.
And so they took me to this. It was a black woman therapist by the name. Her name was, I think, Mildred Carpenter. She was awful popular. She was amazing.
I know her.
And man, well, she was awesome. And I haven't seen her since actually, but she opened my eyes to so many things about me that was going on. And I just remember feeling like I needed to just do something different to make me happy. Everything I had done up to that point seemed like everybody but me, even if it was for me.
Right.
You know, you want to finish school because, you know, you want to be the first in the family and all this kind of stuff, you know, and everybody's so excited about it. But then I went to LA. That was a whole big experience. I never stopped to smell the roses. And what happened was I was just unhappy. And I thought I was happy because I had a nice smile, but a smile don't make you happy.
Right.
And what I started realizing as I started unpeeling these layers, that it was just time for me to start living for me. And sometimes I wasn't moving in clarity with myself. I was just kind of doing what needed to be done. And so what happened is you're not really you anymore. So I think between that and maybe around the time we was doing the I Am Soul thing, all the drama that happened with the first, crew that we had and stuff, I had to learn how to create some boundaries around my access, because people will say, Antoine, you only have that one idea, but sometimes those one ideas could take you 30 years to come up with. So it's like, or those one experiences can take you a lot of things that people don't really talk about, because people sometimes don't care about you.
That's true.
You have to stop, and especially as black men, nobody ever tell us to stop. Like, for example, like I was watching this documentary not too long ago about these black men who's like moving to like Brazil and starting their lives over and leaving families in the U.S. And this one man like started a whole movement about this, and people was asking, why would they do this? So selfish and so that. But when you think about it, we're just now coming to a culture where black men can say what they like personally, sexually, mentally, out loud, and be comfortable saying that without having to break the family or break everybody else's life. And that has to be a tough responsibility. And I didn't even have a family then. I don't have one now. And I'll be honest, I think probably at that era I realized, I don't know if that's a responsibility that I really want.
Right.
So I think that was just kind of what the whole Me Day thing started. And I just have so much more clarity now because I do take consistent care of my mental health, and I stay in therapy.
And you know what?
That's what's up. You stay in therapy.
And I didn't understand it until now. Be honest with you, I didn't understand, because we were brought up in the era, well, son, you're a man, this is what you're supposed to do.
That was my granddad.
And that's what we did. And that's what we did. Fuck everybody else.
Right.
My job is do this, do this, do this, do this. Damn how I feel at that time. And then you realize you're a ticking time bomb.
A ticking time bomb. Yep. It was my grandfather. He was that driver of our family like that. But it was so funny. On his deathbed was when everything, the shift initially started for me. He worked tirelessly on civil rights and, doing all his stuff that he did in the community. He was a farmer. He did all these things. And for the first time in his life on his deathbed, he looked at me and said, son, do you think I did the right thing? And he talked about and I never even thought that he cared about this because he was such that alpha male. But for the first time, he realized that he didn't put his family first for so many years. And he realized that now, at the end of his life, he didn't have the family life that he really wanted because he felt like he drove everybody away. And he gave so much to the community, did so much, and got all these accolades, from civil rights museums, all these different places. But it was not the same as having your family and really doing the things that are important. And he cried. Now, when my granddad started crying, you do two things. You duck or you run.
The world is about to end.
And that's when I knew. I was like, wow, I can't let this continue with me.
There you go.
And, and I feel you there. And it hit me. All that hit me at the same time. I give you that. all that hit me at the same time too, because you think you're doing the right thing, and then when you look up, damn, you hurting more people than you actually helping.
Correct.
But like I say, we being born in the 70s, 60s, and the 70s, we were taught a whole different thing. And then you meet somebody that believes in Me Days, believes in self-preservation and all that stuff, because that never was us. And honestly, when we came up with this show, this has been my outlet. This has been my thing that I've been able to relax on.
And you've always been behind the camera, directing, making everybody else's vision come
true.
Now that's beautiful.
And now I'm sitting there doing the same damn thing.
So
now I'm doing it for me and us.
And this is a really good show, by the way. I'm so proud of the work y'all doing, man. Like, it's crazy scrolling up and down YouTube or streaming stuff on the TV, and I see these faces from Memphis, and I'm like, have I been to the studio? It's because y'all's come on after I watch Carisha Please, and then y'all come on next. I'm like, okay.
There you go.
So keep that running.
I appreciate that, Antoine, and I appreciate you guys for coming in and watching the Smoke Podcast, and please continue to follow us on all the platforms, all social media, everything, and make sure you check out on our YouTube. Until we smoke again, Smoke Fam, we will holla.
This is the Spotlight Podcast Network.